Hey Uday, welcome to McDonough, Georgia. This has been a long time in the making. I know for us,
Yeah.
we met a couple years ago at Digital Banker Conference by American Banker. I know we've had some discussions then on getting together and really forming some sort of partnership. So welcome to our offices.
Oh, thank you for inviting. And I know it's a long time coming. First time for me here, great community, first impressions. But I think, yes, as you said, we met at the American Banker Conference. We've been talking a lot because of the common theme we have. I think you've been helping banks a lot. We've been helping banks a lot. And our team has been enhancing the financial health, not only about the institution, but also the end consumers, businesses or retail customers. So yes, I think we've been talking, we've been doing a lot of good work. Finally, glad to be here.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about BOND.AI and what you guys do. And I know we'll talk a little bit about our partnership and where that's going. But tell me a little bit more about BOND.AI.
Yeah, like I said, the core of our company is financial health, right? So we always focus on, it's an AI company, so we typically don't refer or use the word AI much because for us really, yes, AI is a great technology, but we are focusing really on how do we use data to pinpoint, personalize and enhance the financial health of the end consumer. Because if we can enhance the financial health of the consumers or businesses of community banks or credit unions, of course it will reflect back on the institution itself. So yes, so we have multiple products which we will talk, but all the products are focused on exactly that single point.
Yeah.
And for us, it's one KPI. How do we increase the financial health?
Yeah, and that's so important. How do you feel like this partnership that we're working on, BOND.AI, Lincoln James, how do you feel that's going to help community banks in the future?
I think it'll go a long way, especially for if you see where community banks are today and see where the economic situation is around, right? So, and what people, the end consumers are wanting to do. So pre-pandemic, it was all digital.
Right.
People really wanting to do digital. There was a lot of digital spend. I don't know how much translated, but yes, of course it translated because people were using a lot of digital, but the whole consumer behavior and the macroeconomic landscape has changed post-pandemic, right? People really want to get closer to their communities.
Right.
People are looking forward to help from their communities and especially from their community banks.
Right.
So now I think it is the responsibility of these community banks to basically reach out and help those consumers because you see the inflation, you see the price increases and all that stuff. And I think the banks want to help, but it's a lot for them to do because there's consumers, there's a lot of data. And that's why I see this partnership working really well because we can crunch tons of data in seconds. Right? But those banks will also need assistance in operationalizing that data. And that's exactly where you come in.
Yeah.
So I think this is a great partnership, not only for us, but for the community and the community banks.
Absolutely. And I'll echo that sentiment as well because the reason why, when I initially saw the ROM dashboard and the data that you were able to crunch for community banks, I knew from being a bank marketer myself and working at a community bank that typically in community banks, there's only one or two people that are in the marketing department.
Right.
And they don't have all the expertise in order to get the data, in order to get that to you guys, and then make sense of that data as well.
Absolutely.
So it's going to go a long way with this partnership, I believe, because with you guys providing that data, the bottlenecks that the banks that's gonna be unveiled in that dashboard, then we could take that data from there and really help these community bankers see where those gaps are.
100%. Exactly like what you said, those gaps which we are talking about.
Yeah.
They know they exist. Now I think we can actually show them, not only just show them, but you guys can actually tell them how to fill those gaps.
That's right.
And it's going to be, like I said, a win-win for the bank. Yeah.
Really excited.
Yeah.
Uday, how does this partnership, in your opinion, helps community banks with the challenges that they face?
Yeah, I think this will solve their fundamental issue, right? If you see the landscape again, the cost of funds is increasing.
Right.
Right, the operations cost, the compliance cost, basically the costs of a bank or a community bank are just skyrocketing right
That's
now.
right.
Right, because of that, they're having to do cost cutting in areas where they probably should not, which are kind of affecting their consumers and how they address their consumer needs.
Right.
So I think what the community banks are good at is to address the consumer, right? But what they're maybe not good at is data lakes,
Right.
machine learning,
Yes.
right? All the data governance and all that stuff. I think that's very important. In this generation, I think you have to use data, but you need not invest much or take the time to learn that new technology, hire a bunch of people, again, which will increase your costs.
Absolutely.
So you need not do that. So that's where I think we come in. We say, you just give your extract from your core, which you have been doing all these years,
Right.
right? Give it to us. We will crunch it for you and exactly show what you really want to do for your consumer. But because there's a lot of noise, we'll separate the noise and give you the opportunities and the context where you need to target.
Right.
That's what we'll do. And then when you come in, right, and experience as a former banker, and you can actually think from their shoes, really empathize with them,
Right.
and show them how they can operationalize this and convert into numbers.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So it actually helps their bottom line and top line. That's what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, we've heard from a lot of banks. I've heard from a lot of banks. But what do you think? Because you've been a former banker, and I heard a lot of good things about you too. So what do you think from your perspective?
I mean, this is. I think this partnership is great. The reason why, being a former banker, right?
Yeah.
And I know when I was there at the bank, it was only one or two of us. That was the entire marketing department.
Yeah,
We're talking about a $1.3 billion bank, right?
Yeah.
And it was only two of us in the marketing department. Now, I have the technical expertise behind the scenes, but not every community bank has that, right?
Right.
So having a dashboard like
Yeah.
what you guys provide with the ROM dashboard,
Yeah.
if I had that when I was a banker, that would be a game changer, because
Yeah.
for me to be able to see that data real time, be able to share that with our CFO, our CEO, and me as the marketer,
Yeah.
now we know,
Correct.
okay, here's who we need to target. Here's who we need to go after.
Yeah.
These these consumers or even commercial clients may have relationships with other banks, and now we have the opportunity to market to them directly with your dashboard.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not hitting arrows in the dark too.
Right.
It's not sending just a generic campaign to everybody, right? So I think that combination of us pinpointing it and you actually kind of narrowing it down even further, it's going to be a game changer, like you said.
How does BOND.AI get this data from the community banks?
Yeah, so we get that question, right? I mean, it's not as simple what we get from the core. And I mean, extracting data from the core, it's not that easy. I mean, there are improvements these core providers are taking, but it's not there yet.
Right.
So we get directly from the core. The problem we see when we get it from the core is the format is not maybe consistent, and it's not that structured as the AI or the models want. So yeah, in simple words, we get it from the core, but we'll have to do some amount of work to kind of cleanse it, kind of enrich it, normalize it, and structure it, which we do.
Gotcha.
And again, like I said, we actually handhold the bank to get that done, because even extracting a core, writing a script sometimes for a community bank might be a challenge.
Absolutely.
But we will take care of that.
That's great.
Yeah, and then we get the data, and that's when the magic happens.
Yeah.
We analyze it and put exactly what the bank needs in front of them.
Awesome. So that I'm glad you said that, because that would have been a headache for so many banks.
Yes.
I'm glad that BOND.AI, helps the banks extract that data
Right.
and put that into the dashboard.
Correct.
So from a marketing perspective, where Lincoln James and BOND.AI are working together, how does that, I know that you don't require any personal information from that data.
Right.
How would we get that together? How would we marry that together?
Yeah, so we say the best way to do this is no PII. Though we are SOC 2 type 2 compliant and all that stuff, but we say the best way to start is with no PII, because we can still identify a consumer with a unique ID. That's what we do. So once we do the analysis, and then we can actually pass it on to you.
Yeah.
So Lincoln James can come, because you are now actually working closely with the bankers and the banks, and you can actually match it up with the name, email, light PII,
Absolutely.
and then get the bank help with those marketing campaigns.
That's great.
Yeah, so we are secure, and you are secure, the bank feels secure.
Yeah, definitely. I think with that hyper-personalized approach that we're able to get the data and then match that up
Yeah.
with who those consumers are,
Yeah.
those campaigns are going to be targeted specifically to those individuals.
Absolutely, and I think we have to, everybody talks about diversification in finance,
Right.
Even in data and AI, we have to do this. If one entity or one company does everything, there's always a chance of risk. There's always a risk. I think this partnership, that's why I see, okay, we don't see PII, but we do a great analysis, and you take that up and put it up a notch, and you actually market it out. So that's actually, again, a great combination.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You asked about the data extraction, how banks are using data. But yes, we've seen whatever I mentioned about how banks extract data, how they leverage data. But you, being a banker, did you see that, and how did you actually solve it?
Yeah, so that was a huge problem for us. Having the data, we had to work directly with our core providers. And that was something, because we didn't have a data analyst on staff, which community bank does.
Yeah.
Not many community banks have a data, if any. I didn't know of any.
Yeah.
So, I had to lean on relationships, fintech groups that I was a part of, just to see if anyone had the expertise there that could help the bank out. So we had a huge challenge when it came to deciphering that data and how we were going to use it to market to our customers.
So was that kind of delaying your process of using a data product or an AI product?
Absolutely. If we had the BOND.AI ROM dashboard, that would have solved all of the issues that I had. Like I said, just being able to see it at work and see it in play, for me, as a marketer and a bank marketer, that just opens up so many possibilities. Now I got so excited by seeing this data right in front of my face, I didn't actually have to touch any data. I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I would get that from you guys and then move forward.
This is a great point, actually. I mean, like I said, we see a lot of institutions want to leverage data and data products.
Right.
But the point you mentioned is absolutely spot on, because now I start to kind of think back is they want to use a product, they want to leverage data products, but the gap between them using it is basically the challenge of data.
Absolutely.
How they can kind of get the data, use all that stuff, and you're spot on. I think this partnership can solve that too.
Yeah. Another thing that I thought of also was when the CEOs are, they're looking for some sort of dashboard that could be presented to them so they can see, from a holistic 30,000 foot view what the bank looks like. And a lot of bankers are just afraid of the word fintech. They're afraid that, they don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
And they don't know who to turn to or where to go. And leverage those kinds of relationships. So, when you mention technology, a lot of bank marketers' eyes just glaze over.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So, Uday, what potential cost-saving opportunities will this partnership lend to community banks?
Oh man, that's actually the biggest advantage here with this partnership. So I think if you see in the banks, there are so many products, right? And if you kind of sum it, these are like $1 million products, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's difficult, especially in the current environment, for community banks or small banks, small institutions, or even large institutions to invest. So the biggest advantage of this product, what we are doing is you can look at an institution holistically.
Right.
Not only look, I mean, we look at call reports, I mean, we look at transaction data, we look at all the other stuff data. Not only that, you provide a dashboard, but you also have the spot and narrow down onto opportunities. And not only you see opportunities, but you can translate and target those opportunities. So it's looking at a holistic view of the finance of the bank and their customers and giving the ability to target.
Yes.
So it's actually all in one, effectively for an institution. But again, like you said, there is kind of a gap to use a fintech because the confidence, maybe it's not 100% yet. So when we give this holistic picture and also the ability to target, there has to be somebody like a Lincoln James who steps in, kind of gives that comfort, that confidence, and shows the results. This is what will happen, and make it happen for the institution. And there's a huge cost savings here. Instead of paying millions of dollars for a product just to do email marketing, this is one solution they can just tap into.
Yeah, that's important. I'm glad you said that also, because when I was at the bank, I moved from marketing into innovation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And as part of innovation, I met with our CEO every 2 weeks and we would have a discussion. And my job was to go out, talk to people in the bank and find out where they had challenges,
Yeah.
right? And there were a ton of challenges. So I went out and I started looking for tools and I started looking for fintech products that could actually integrate with the bank and our core. And I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it is truly expensive for a community bank. So just coming back to our CEO
Yeah.
with the price point on a lot of the tools that are out there,
Right.
it was a hurdle
Yeah.
in order to get over that. So,
Absolutely.
you know, the cost savings, I believe, is definitely, you know, something that is going to help out the community banks that you don't want to invest, or you don't have the ability to invest millions of dollars in a tool, but something that can do the same thing
Yeah.
at a price point that's conducive to the community bank.
Yeah, exactly. Not just the price point, right? I mean, they can clearly see the ROI.
Right.
And one of our bankers was saying, we can probably get an ROI with this in less than 6 months.
That's right.
So if a CEO of a bank sees a definite ROI with this, it just becomes a no-brainer for them to invest in this because it's, again, a holistic tool.
Definitely. Speaking holistically from the BOND.AI dashboard, can this drill down to a consumer level as well?
Absolutely. That is the best part, right? So yes, you can see your bank as a whole, the opportunities as a whole, but community banks, we talked about communities, people want to walk in. What if a customer walks into a branch, goes to a teller, can they use this tool? Yes, right? So we don't want this to be like, okay, when a consumer walks in, he or she kind of asks for something else, and we don't want to sell a product.
Right.
Right? We don't want to do that. But this tool exactly does that. So a teller can see a consumer level data and see he or her needs right there.
Yeah.
And she might be, because we have the BOND score,
Right.
which actually reflects the financial health score of that individual. So it's a reflection of what needs they have. So when somebody walks in, a teller basically can ask based on his or her need, do you need this?
Right.
Or can we help with this?
Yes.
So it goes down to that consumer level. Not only a marketer, not only a CFO or a CEO can look at it, but even a teller can use this tool.
That is mind-blowing, because that's something that's another challenge that community bankers face, not knowing who those customers are when they walk into into the branch, right?
Yep.
So, man, just think about the opportunities that's going to open up
Correct.
for community bankers now.
Absolutely.
To be able to pull up that customer, see the needs that they have,
Yeah.
and service them on those needs. So now that's gonna leave the customer feeling like, these guys actually know me. They
Correct.
care about me.
100%. I mean, when 4 years ago or 5 years ago, I was looking for some needs and all that stuff. I walked into my bank, they did not have anything on me.
Right.
Right? So, but I had to figure out something myself and all that stuff. And there are millions of consumers doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
And here, I mean, you're using data, you're using AI for the right purposes, right?
Yeah.
So helping a consumer exactly when they need it is priceless.
Yeah.
So Lincoln, I think whenever we speak about community banks, all the CEOs and everybody are thinking about how do we compete with the big banks, right? The big banks are everywhere. They have bigger budgets. They, of course, use expensive products, and they're spending millions in ads. You see on Instagram, you see on Google, you see everywhere, right?
Right.
So as a community bank and as Lincoln James, helping a community bank market it better, how do you basically reduce the gap?
Yeah. So I'm glad you asked that question, because when we think about marketing to consumers or commercial clients, it's that hyper-personalized approach that's going to really get directly to that individual. So how do we do that? Look at multi-touch point marketing, right?
Yeah.
So when you do that on a more local level, people are going to see it. They're going to feel it. They're at the baseball game, they're at the football game, and they see all of these small little touches. For example, you can start out with an email that's personalized with this individual in it, that's personalized specifically for that consumer or that commercial client. Then they see it on LinkedIn. Then they see it in a local magazine. They may even see it in the local paper.
Yeah.
And I think that's the advantage that community banks have and what Lincoln James would help to provide is to really narrow in on that community aspect and that community feel.
Yeah, I actually love this point because I think that what I can see from your answer is I think community banks have this advantage of multi-touch.
Yes.
Right? So in a community, there are multiple touch points where the community banks can tap into.
Yes.
And imagine one of the touch points can be like we spoke about walking into a teller. That can be a touch point.
Mm-hmm.
So if the messaging remains consistent and basically they see these as nudges for them to take action,
Right.
they will feel empowered.
What type of growth opportunities do you see that community banks would get from this relationship?
Yeah, I think we should get into specifics, right? Growth can mean a lot. But I think any institution using this tool, ROM, I think we've designed it so that every department of their institution or community bank sees growth, right? Right from, I mean, we show them the current efficiency ratio, and we also show them potential efficiency ratio if they follow all this stuff, what we're talking about in the dashboard and what you give to the bank. So we give them, okay, if a bank is at a 75% efficiency ratio, we can tell you can actually go to 71, which is significant, right? And stuff like that. Or even we also give them how to improve their loan to deposit ratios.
Yes.
How to increase the deposits and loans, which is fundamental to a bank.
Right.
And also things like we have cohorts. How does this institution actually fare between institutions of similar asset size or similar consumer base or in the geographic area? They can see and improve based on all the statistics, right? So I think we give very specific growth areas and also give them insights how to basically grow.
That's great because think about the opportunities and the growth opportunities that a lot of banks have. You know, they may have just one central location.
Yeah.
Say they want to expand into another state or they want to expand someplace else. Can the BOND.AI data also help them with mergers and acquisitions, you know, as they're growing?
Absolutely. See, I mean, this is exactly right? I mean, let's take an example of Silicon Valley Bank, though we are talking about community banks. So I think what was happening in that bank, probably everybody knew what was happening, but there was no insight probably what to do with it.
Right.
It's the same with a lot of community banks is they want validation of what they're thinking about.
Right.
This exactly provides that. So they might be thinking the right thing, which most of the CEOs and most of the C-level or the bankers actually do, but this provides validation, connects all these dots,
right,
and gives them, this is probably the direction you need to go. Even in a merger or acquisition scenario, okay, if they want to do a merger next year, okay, they'll have to meet some kind of a thresholds in terms of bottom line and top line. This will give them the projection and how to get there. So Lincoln, you wore multiple hats, right? You've been a banker, you've been a marketer, you've been a consultant, you've worked with fintechs, right? So you've kind of lived the whole journey here.
Yeah.
So what will be your recommendation for community banks to basically leverage fintechs, leverage the right kind of marketing and growing the next year?
Yeah. So again, that is something that is so difficult for community bankers to be able to do. I think my recommendation would be to use BOND.AI. The reason why I say that,
yes,
the reason why I say that is because being in that seat as a marketer, it's so stressful. You just don't know. There's so many things coming at you, and you have to put things to the side. But if you have a tool that what BOND.AI provides, that helps ease the stress for marketers to be able to make the decision. I mean, it's right in front of you, and it makes it simple.
Absolutely, completely agree. I mean, yes, our product is great, but I think, like you said, they not only need the product, but they also need some kind of guidance and kind of, confidence, to build confidence on using fintech or technology products to show them the way, which you guys are doing.
Right, and how we do that also is with our marketing campaigns.
Yes.
So think about this: if someone is not aware of the bank at all, right?
Yeah.
And that's number one spot where they have to start, and that's awareness.
Sure.
Okay, you can't go from awareness to being a raving fan of the bank in one day.
Yeah.
That's a process.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we help those banks work that process from awareness to becoming a raving fan of the bank. So we take them through steps using digital marketing, using traditional marketing, and it really depends on that community bank. So this isn't a cookie cutter approach. This is something that is personalized to that bank and to their community. So we want to make sure that we're taking their customers from that awareness phase all the way to them becoming a raving fan of the bank.
Absolutely love it. So we can say we are connecting the dots with the data, and you're helping the bank connect the dots in the community. It's a great combination.
Love it. So tell us, where can everyone find information about BOND.AI and what you guys are doing?
Yeah, I think our website is the best way to find us. We are very active on LinkedIn. Probably we are not that active on Twitter or X, we call it, but I think people can find us on our website, sign up for this tool. We are very active in responding. We immediately kind of get it, help with the data. So we are very reactive. So website and LinkedIn are the best ways to do it.
Absolutely.
And where can people find Lincoln James?
Well, again, also our website, if you go to lincolnjames.net, you'll find everything there. We're also on all the social media platforms.
Yeah.
So, we're just looking forward to this partnership. So excited about what we're going to be offering for community banks and how we can help them out. And the ease of use in order to get started and take the stress away from all of the bankers that are thinking, they have to go big.
Absolutely, completely agree.
So Uday, can you give me a specific example of where BOND.AI partnered with the bank and was able to help a bank out?
Absolutely. So this is interesting because we have something on our dashboard called missed revenue. Okay, so that actually gives a glimpse into a community bank, how much money is actually being left on the table. So whenever we run this analysis, run this data, that's one box which it's kind of gives an output. And we went to a bank and they realized it was $6 million.
Wow.
Can you imagine for a community bank?
Yeah.
I mean, 2.5 billion in assets, but leaving 6 million on the table every year. It's a huge thing, right?
That's
so I
huge.
think that actually caught the attention of the CEOs, like, oh my God, if you can help us recoup that, okay, we need this tool.
Right.
So what we do is we also give them insights how to recoup this, right? But I think getting information or getting guidance from a software, I think it's still not that widely accepted. That's again, I see the partnership between Lincoln James and BOND.AI is once we show them this, once we show opportunities, once we show them missed revenue and give a light insights about it, you can then go into the bank and say, this is how you need to do it. Right. And over the course of this 6 months or 3 months or maybe 12 months, you actually recoup that revenue. And it's
powerful.
An ROI, it's very powerful.
Hey, Uday, thank you so much for stopping in today and just visiting us here. We're truly excited about this partnership and can't thank you enough for stopping in.
Absolutely. I mean, thanks for the invite. And I think this will be a great partnership and really excited about this because yes, we are going to help the community banks in the communities, but I think I'm more excited about the impact which we are going to create for the community and of course the community banks itself at a much affordable price.
Absolutely.
Because that's the most important thing I think what we are doing here.
Yes.
And of course getting them across from A to Z.
Yeah.
I think it's a whole circle, it's holistic and much more affordable.
Definitely. So tell us, how can people get in contact with BOND.AI?
The best way I think to reach us is our website, www.bond.ai. We are very active, we can respond. I think people and banks can actually come and sign up for this tool. We will react pretty much instantly, help them in whatever ways they want. Just if they even want to ask questions about data, AI, just feel free to get in touch with us, not only through the website, but even on LinkedIn.
Right.
Our team is very active on LinkedIn. So I think those two are the best ways to reach out to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think even for us, I mean, with this partnership, where can people find you? Because I think, yes, they can talk to us about data, but they can actually talk to you about a lot of other stuff. I know you speak at a lot of conferences. That's a great avenue, but where else can people find Lincoln James and Lincoln?
Yeah, so they can find us online. That's the best place to find us. If they go to lincolnjames.net, they can find out more information about what we're doing, and they'll see information about our partnership there as well to get in contact with us, and we can collaborate on that. So, we're on all of the social media platforms as well. LinkedIn is where we love to hang out, but we're on all the social media platforms. So, that's how people can get in contact with us.
Absolutely. Look forward to this partnership. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Excited.
Yeah.